Well, as you can see, I've been fooling around with working on panels for the driver's side. I haven't backed the car out and ground out the rust. It's been snowy and cold and crummy, and tomorrow I have other commitments. So maybe Friday, it's supposed to be a warm day. Maybe I'll get the car out of the garage, and if I can reach the pedals from sitting back here, I'll get it out and grind out the rust. My next step is I traced around this with the Sharpie, and my next step will be to get the plasma cutter and cut all this rust out and clean the inside of the brace up and paint it, and the same with the back part here. So they're basically just kind of in there now. I'm going to be making more panels. This is just the big main panel for here. Obviously I'll have some rust here I got to repair that goes right up to the front of where the seat bolts, and I'll cut all that out and repair that too. These are the holes in the lower brace that are drained, so that's not a rust hole right there, but they're, you know, this will need to be rounded out and welded. So once I start tacking this in, then I can start working it with the body hammer and getting it to fit where I want it to fit real nicely. And then after this is tacked in pretty good, and then I'll start cutting the metal out for these other parts. Like I'll have to add some metal to there. And that side's got a piece there too, just like what I need to do here. So that's no big deal. And just wanted to get something done. I had a little free time today, and I thought it'd be nice to get some work done on the Catalina. Tomorrow in my running around that I have to do, I'm going to stop by the trim shop to see how the seat is coming along. The trim shop is Shelby Auto Trim that is doing the seat. They're at 17.5 Mile and Mound Road. So I'll stop by there tomorrow if they allow me to do some videoing of what they've done. I'll get some video of what's been done so far. But anyway, I'm going to cut those, maybe cut those rusted areas out with the plasma cutter so I get these all fitted and ready to weld. So all I have to do is take that and clean up all the scaly rust so that I have shiny metal to weld to. And this is just like, this isn't really rust, that's like a primer. You can see the bare metal here where that stuff's come off, and you can kind of scrape it, you can see it becomes shiny. So that's not rust, that's just primer. This is a little minor surface rust, and that cleans up pretty quick and easy too. That I'll have to hit with the grinder, but it's all solid, and so we'll get the car out. I just don't want to cause an orange fog in the garage from grinding this stuff out again in here. So I'll get it outside. I think I'm going to pop this off, and that way I can lift this up and not damage it, and get going here. I got an email from Shelby Auto Trim. The back of the front seat has some ribbed vinyl on it, and I don't have that, and so they emailed me if I needed to get it, or if I still had it, or if they want me to reuse it. It's like brand new, the back of those seats. I told them just reuse it if they can. If they can't, I told them just put regular vinyl in there. But I think they'll reuse what's there. We'll talk to them tomorrow about that and see what's going on. But yeah, it's coming along, plugging away at it. One other thing that I do is I take my handy dandy air chisel and I go around and cut all the spot welds and the rust that's kind of built up so that this is, you know, smooth. You can see there's a bit of space between the floor pan and the floor brace. Well, that has to be against the floor pan, and if you have a bunch of junk here, you're not going to be able to push that up against the sheet metal to re-weld this to it. So what I'll do is after I get the sheet metal in here, I'll take a bottle jack, well maybe before I put the sheet metal in, and I'll put it under the car on this brace and jack this brace up until it's, up to the floor pan there a bit, and then I'll be able to weld to it, and it won't have a gap there. It'll look right from underneath. Now you'll see this, and I'll grind all this when I back it out. To grind it, I'll grind that edge smooth, all this stuff smooth, and and I'll grind all this so that it has clean metal to weld on. But that just kind of gives you a picture of, how I clean it up. And that is completely solid. You can see the shiny metal there. So it's just that these were full of dirt, and the dirt and crud got in between here and the pan, and that's what rusted the floor pans out here. So I just wanted to kind of point this out a little bit. I'm lazy, so yeah, I use an air chisel. I don't use a hammer and chisel, and I can grind that little nub and that little nub off with that when I get it outside. I'm not going to do any grinding in here. So I'm just working on getting things ready to where I can just run it outside, really grind it out good, get it ready to weld on, then I can pull it back in the garage and weld it up, and then this side's done. And then I can start putting the mats and everything back in the way they're supposed to be and get it ready for the seats. This is another little tool that goes in the air tool. And what it does, if you're welding a new body, like a whole quarter panel on or something like that, you can run this down the seam joint, and it gives you a little lip, obviously, that you can butt the new metal up to, and gives you something to run the weld bead down so your panels are flush. But then you have this little bit here which can collect dirt and crud. So always make sure that your weld is like, so it's like this, I guess, so your stuff, like your car body panel, your repair panel in the weld here, and that way stuff gravity doesn't pull it in there and just keep it full. And then if you can, seam seal it, undercoat it or whatever. Anywhere you can keep moisture from getting in on unfinished metal, your repair will last a lot longer. One other thing too is that I wanted to talk about was YouTube, and how I have my videos monetized. Well, they just changed their rules, and if you're like me and have under 1,000 viewers, your videos won't be monetized within 30 days from yesterday. So, it's no big deal. I don't do the videos because of the money. There isn't much money in it. I do it because I enjoy them, so I will continue doing the videos. I mean, it was $120, $130 every 4 to 6 weeks that I got from YouTube, and that was nice because, I could spend it on something with the, something on the car, or the Chevy or whatever, any of the toys I enjoy, or sometimes I'd buy things in estate sales, like, for example, that Heathkit oscilloscope that I showed, or the growler that I have, some of those things that I bought in estate sales, I use the YouTube money to buy that kind of stuff. It's just a little tiny bit of extra spending money, but they require you to have 1,000 viewers and 4,000 hours of view time per year. Well, I make that $4,000 or 4,000 views per year because I looked at the analytics, or not views, but hours of viewing. But I don't have 1,000 subscribers, so until I have 1,000 subscribers, I just won't get any $120 or so every 4 to 6 weeks, which, it's no big deal. It's not going to break the bank. I do a lot of small engine repairs, and, I can do that and make that in half hour, 45 minutes, working on small engines and stuff. I do a lot of that engine stuff. But anyway, back to the monetization. It's just kind of sad because, it might, deter some people from starting YouTube channels. And then as the tubers that are big and popular move on in life and go in other directions, and stopped doing videos. And I've seen a number of them. Dave's Farm's a perfect example. And you know, people stop doing it for different circumstances. But I used to watch Dave's Farm all the time. He was the second largest tuber in Canada, and you can't even find a video of his on the internet anymore because, you know, he had some troubles with the law and whatnot. But then, you know, there was Crazy British Bloke and 3D Machines and Pug Life and all them that went to Dave's Farm all the time that became big channels, you know, from going to Dave's Farm. And, you know, I don't see any more from Crazy British Bloke. 3D Machines is kind of, you know, going down the drain. He used to do some really good making stuff and repairing stuff, and now it's just kind of, he just sits around in a garage and yaps about, you know, useless stuff like I am right now. And he hasn't even put up a video in a few weeks. So, you know, I think he's probably getting tired and wants to move on with his life and do something else too. So eventually what's going to happen is YouTube's going to go down the drain because they're not going to have the new people to replace the old ones when they kind of go off on a different direction. And so, you know, it's just kind of my rant about that. So I just wanted to kind of let everyone know I'm still going to make the videos. I started making them without them monetized because I enjoy doing it, and I'm going to continue making them. And like I say, the money really isn't, you know, it's not like I make a living from it. $120 every 6 weeks, you know, like I say, isn't that big of a deal. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up about the monetization right here and now. Well, there's one of the things the YouTube money bought was the topper for this battery. That was about $40 with shipping. It bought the battery. This is the battery that's out of the 59 Chevy. Bought a new battery for the 59 Chevy. So, you know, it's nice to have that little extra. Little extra never hurts. It's always nice. So, anyway, it would definitely pay the heating bill for in here. That furnace adds $40 to $50 a month to the gas bill, so that's not too bad. It's a lot cheaper than when I used to use kerosene with a torpedo heater. I'd go through that in a week. So. And as I was ranting about in my video on the monetization, I do a lot of small engine repair. Get a lot of lawnmowers, a lot of snow blowers, and that little seat is swollen up. And this kit's for Tecumseh. I keep usually about 4 or 5 of these on hand. I have some for Briggs and Strattons and some of the other brands' engines. I even have 2-stroke, you know, Walbro and Zama kits. And people bring them over and drop them off. Lawnmowers, snow blowers, rotor tillers, generators. Pretty much anything with a small engine I'll fix for them. And I don't do videos on, you know, that kind of stuff because it's just, they're all the same basically, and it'd just be boring, repetitive, you know, rebuilding this Tecumseh carburetor, that Briggs and Stratton carburetor, or this trimmer carburetor or whatever. You know, I do chainsaws too. I don't do trimmers or leaf blowers. They're throwaway. You can go buy a new one cheaper than what you can repair them for. But that's just kind of, you know, I do, like I say, a lot of small engine work too on the side. It's fun. I enjoy it. And, you know, it's just a little extra money there too. And, all right, well, I'm going to get back to work here. So thank you for watching my videos, and also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you are subscribed, get everybody you know to subscribe. Let's get that number up over 1,000. Maybe I can get my $120 back every 6 weeks or so, you know, to spend on these cars.